Hey everybody, it's Georgiana again with Expressions Craft Studio, and I am going to start working on some, what do you call them, sun catchers later today. But I had this stuff all over my desk from the other day when we were making beads, and somehow I forgot this one strip here. Anyway, I've cut these on my Cricut on 8.5 by 11 paper, and I rolled them up, and I used a couple of different tools before I found the size hole I liked. As I said before, I had been using a knitting needle tool. This is a number 6 or 4.0 US size, and I found those holes too big. I did try with my other, here it is, my quilling tools. This one was really hard to load. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The slot in there is really thin, and it really is just for paper. But this one ended up being, again, let me get that up there so you can see it, my favorite. It works really good. The hole's not too big. It's a little bit bigger than a toothpick, but not as big as a skewer. And it's got a nice wide slot, so it was easy to load the cardstock in. So that's the one I ended up using for the rest of the beads, and I still have a few left to color, but I kind of wanted to show you what I had been doing. So these are the ones I still need to do. These are the ones I had a little bit of leftover watercolor paint in my little divided paint tray. So I re-wet it and painted them, and they're darker than they were the first time, probably because the concentration's much richer than it was before, but I like them. And then I had some that were painted, and I added alcohol ink to them, and they don't look that much different than the ones that just have the alcohol ink. Now, except that on the alcohol ink ones, I did use, and I don't know if I'll be able to show this very well, I did use 2 colors of ink. And I think you can kind of see it. I really like the way that looks. Come on now. I used a deep purple and a deep blue. Let's see, I've got them here. They're alcohol inks that I made years ago, and I've still got them. I don't actually know what this one's called. The name wore off, or I never put it on there. This one is blue. It just says blue, and those were the colors on the package of the Sharpie markers that I used to make these. At the time, I was making tumblers, so everybody was making their own alcohol inks because they were so much cheaper. And it probably is a little bit cheaper to make your own, even by the time you buy all the bottles and the alcohol and the Sharpies. The difference is you don't usually get as rich a color. These are the darkest 2 colors I have, so they are rich, but most of the others are fairly pale if you were to put them on anything other than, plain paper. So I also got out my other alcohol creations. These are mists that I've made, and these have alcohol and paint in them instead of the Sharpies. This is Folk Art Metallic. Let me see if they're Blue Sapphire, which is one of my favorite colors from all the acrylic paints. And the number, I believe, was 656E. I think that's why I put that on there. So it's a little bit of paint and then alcohol, and you just shake it up real good. And I think yes, you can see the shimmer in that. Look how pretty that is. But when I paint it on my beads, it comes out here. Let's do this way. It comes out much lighter, but it's pretty, and the camera's really not doing it justice because it does have a shimmer to it. I like the color variations on it, and I just painted that on there with a paintbrush. You could use whatever you want, but this is what I used. So a couple of them I did 2 coats on, and I don't know if you can tell. I think you might be able to tell the difference. So the one on the right has a second coat on it, so it's a little bit darker. Not a lot, but a little bit. And I really thought those were pretty, and I was going to paint them all that way just because I have an idea about something I want to try with them. But I won't go into that today. So then I picked out some of my others. I thought this Folk Art Metallic Ice Blue was beautiful. And it's, again, a shimmer. Anything that's metallic is going to have some micro powder in it or Pearl X powder in it, something to give it that shimmer. But when I painted it on the bead, it came out super light and almost greenish. Oops, there you are. You can't even really tell in the screen. So I'll just do that with a different color. And actually, I put a little bit on the paper towel right here, and it doesn't even show up now that it's completely dry. So I also used my Folk Art Amethyst. I might have added the shimmer to this because it does have some shimmer in it, but it's Folk Art Amethyst 654 is the number on that, and that one came out really nice. Now again, these are all on cream colored 65-pound cardstock. Where are we going? So they do look a little different in person than they do on the camera, but they are so pretty, and they definitely have a shimmer. None of them have been sealed yet, so that we'll see how that works. Then I used, again, Folk Art Color Shift. Come on. Blue Violet Flash. The flash will show you different colors depending on the way the light hits it. I don't think it really works that way in this instance with the alcohol added to it, but it did make a really pretty bead. So I like that too. So I wanted to try. I made a bunch of them just so I could try different finishes on them and see what I liked. I also, while I had my alcohol inks out, I don't know, oh, there it is. I also used this sky blue is what it says. Now, I don't know about you, but that looks more green to me. But I thought, well, it says sky blue. I'll try it. But it really does come out kind of a, I don't know, almost a teal or aqua. Now that it's really dry, it actually does kind of look sky blue. But compared to these, it looks green. So, yeah. But this is what I was saying the other day. I'm encouraging you to play around with stuff. You'll get different looks. You know, you'll find something you like. Make yourself some test samples and play with it. Now this one, I'm going to put this one on here just so we can see it a little bit better. This one I also used some of my, there we go. You know what? Let me put it in here. That seems to work pretty good. I also used some of my homemade alcohol inks. And again, I use Sharpies and alcohol. You got to cut the Sharpies open, take the little thing that's loaded with the ink and put it in the alcohol. But honestly, for the trouble you spend and the saturation that you lack, usually I would not recommend making your own. You can, if you just want to try it with a couple Sharpies you have laying around. I wouldn't buy a bunch of stuff. Try it and see if you like it first. But this one I used 3 colors. I used the magenta, and this was all in a huge pack of Sharpies that I bought just for this purpose. So this one was labeled magenta. This one said pink orange. I thought this was yellow when I grabbed it because it looks yellow. And orange. So I actually think this is one of my favorite beads. There you go. The yellow doesn't show up, and maybe I'll swap that out for the more true yellow instead of the pink orange. But I think that's really pretty. The other thing I noticed was, depending on how you use the beads, if you are stringing them on jewelry or even your sun catchers, if you're going to have them indoors, I wouldn't put them outdoors because they are paper. They won't weather well. Is if you're worried about seeing the core and the color of the core, you can even take your paintbrush, and I have done it to a few. Where did they go? I think this is one. And just kind of get a little bit on it. You don't want it too wet, but get a little bit of whatever you're using. I'm using the alcohol and paint combination, and just swirl it down around in there. And that will cover up that bit of core if you're worried about seeing it. It doesn't take a lot of effort. In fact, let's just do one. Let's grab this out. I like to shake it up, make sure those micas or whatever, the metallic bits, the shimmer bits, are moving freely. And you could even spray. I could spray these because I've got the spray bottle. I think that's kind of wasteful because I tried it and I got these big blotches of of spritz. So I don't want to, I don't need that. I don't want to spray them, but you could if you wanted to, if you had better spray bottles too, because these don't mist real well. The Tim Holtz spray bottles, they work great, and even the little mini misters work really well. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip this in here. It's not wet yet, so it might. Here, I'll just do this, see if I can make it a little bit. Okay, so then make sure I'm in the camera. I'm just going to take it and put it in the hole and just give it a swirl. And that helps get those ends better as well as the inside. So this is really easy to do if you're, you know, working with the cardstock or the back of it. You don't like the color of it. Yeah, see? Oh, can you see? Yeah. So it doesn't, I didn't go all the way down in there, but you could if you wanted to. I just wanted to make sure that you couldn't see the cream color right there. So this is just a quick little video to kind of show you what options you have. Again, I'm just going to say this again and again and again. Use what you have. If you have stuff, use it up, play with it, practice, because this is not something I'd ever done before. I never thought about making paper beads until fairly recently. I never thought about using these mixes that, you know, handmade mixes that I'd used. This is all very recent for me, and I've had a lot of this stuff for a very long time. So, you know, don't be afraid to play with it and try stuff out. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you do, then you've you know, then you've stand. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but if you like it, that's great. Well, let's just keep it simple. These are all going to look very different by the time I get the glaze on them, so I think I'll do that real quick. I'll pause the video. I'm going to use the polyacrylic just because it's a little bit easier to use than the diamond glaze. The diamond glaze can get a little chunky and it dries pretty fast, so if you don't put it on really smoothly, it gets a little, although this one's smoother than it looks, it's because the bead is, the color's kind of bled a little bit, which I actually like. But I'm going to use the polyacrylic, and then I'll come back and I'll just show you the finished beads. So we're going to travel through time, as one of my YouTube people usually says. So hold on to your seats. All right, we are back. We have landed on the other side of our little time traveling adventure, and these beads have been glazed twice. Now, this one I'm showing you one glazed and one not glazed, just so you can see the difference. The glaze does bring the color out a little bit more. They're the same. They were treated the same way or painted the same way, but I think you can see that the glaze kind of darkens them, and then it adds that shine. Now you can use a matte finish if you prefer. I like a nice shiny finish, so I'm going to put that one back. These two here, I wanted to show you, I forgot to show you earlier, this bead looks a little different. That is because I have squished it, so it's not round. There we go. I don't know what shape it is necessarily, but it's not exactly round, and the hole's not round either. And all I did to do that was I just took one of these beads before I painted it or whatever, or added ink to it, and I just, let me see, just squeezed. Oops. So that's all I did to get this. Sorry, I've got little hairs on me. To kind of widen that bead out so it's not so round. It's kind of almost disc shaped, sort of, I guess. I'm not sure what shape you'd call it, but it's flatter, and I like that. So that's what this one, this darker one here is. It's the same, it's just been squished. So here's the pink, orange, and yellowish bead with 2 coats of glaze on it. And I think that turned out really nice. You can hear they're a lot harder now than the ones that don't have a glaze on them. And I haven't let it completely dry. Well, that sounds the same. Huh. There you go. It'll get harder, and I might put a couple more coats on it, but I was kind of in a hurry to show you. So this one here, again, it's the same bead. It's just got the blue sapphire folk art metallic and alcohol mix on it. So one's finished with polyacrylic and the other one's not. And you can just see it just brings out the shine and the color a little bit more. Then we've got the darker amethyst one, which is it's actually the blue violet flash, and it came out darker than the amethyst one, which is right there. Now you could always add a little bit of glitter to your glaze. You'd want to use a really fine glitter, super fine, unless you're working with bigger beads, then you could maybe use something a little chunkier, but I would definitely practice with that first. I've worked with chunky glitters and they don't always lay down nicely. If that's the look you're going for, that's great. But fine is the way to go. I like the mica powders. You can get colored ones that either add color and a little sparkle, or just like I've got here, the Pearl-X Micro Pearl, which is white, but if you thin it out enough, it kind of comes out like a pearly glaze. There you go. I don't know why I'm struggling to think of that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but there's your beads. And I think they turned out nice. I'm not sure what my favorite is. I thought it would be this one, but these painted ones are really nice with the glaze on them, and then these darker ones, and actually I like them all. The 2 purples and then the orange one too. You could even add, now at this point, if you wanted to, you could take and add either glue on some little beads or rhinestones or something, and they'd have to be little because these beads only measure a 1/2 inch wide. Or you could use some kind of glue, glitter glue, or what do I have over there? I have Nuvo drops, just to kind of give them that lampwork look. I mean, you could do all kinds of things with them. So I'm going to keep playing with them, but I did go ahead and get out some stuff for my sun catcher, so I am going to work on that next. I got to pick out my beads first, but once I get that done, I'll make the sun catcher, and then I'm probably going to keep coming back to this because I'm having a really good time with these. And my sun catchers that I want to hang in my kitchen, I'm going to go with primarily blues, whites, and clear colors, and I think these beads will look really nice in there, combined with some glass and crystal and even some natural stone beads. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a happy crafty day. Thanks for joining me. Thank you to my new subscribers. I always forget to say that, but thank you guys. I'm so happy that you're here. And especially thank you to my old subscribers. You know who you are. Love you guys. Till next time. Bye.